was kind of dating and having romantic relationships like for you in those younger years?
It was sparse, right? I was really, really focused on the business. I mean, I dated. I had girlfriends going back to before I even moved to the U.S. So before this first startup, I was born and raised in Canada, and I dated even for a couple years. So I think it was a normal life in that regard, but it was few and far between, because if you weren't dating anybody, you're so focused on the business, you're not meeting anybody.
So you're not going outside.
Exactly.
You're sitting inside all the time.
Yeah, but I do think, like, and some of this I wish I could have applied to my life going back, but I do think that having that balance, and certainly I've been married a long, long time now, since that very first startup, and I think having a different life outside of work, having a personal life, having a significant other, kids, whatever your thing is really helpful to balance I always described it as work was chaos, ups and downs and craziness and customers coming and going and highs and lows, and and then at home everything was like stable, right? I've lived in the same house for 30 years. I've had the same wife for 25 years, whatever. Same house, same. I used to say same house, same wife, same kids, same dog. Dog died.
Dog
died. But it was very grounding to balance out the chaos of running a startup with having a more stable personal life at home.
That's interesting. Some people push towards a more balanced approach to entrepreneurship, like you're saying, and then some people go towards you don't have really the bandwidth to deal with a relationship.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's self-imposed. There are lots of entrepreneurs that find time to do that, and it just took me longer. I mean, that was me from when I started Pinpoint to when I sold Pinpoint. So that was about 6 years, right, of just all in, giving 100% every day, day and night. Roommates with David, working on the business, trying to grow it. Like there was barely time for a social life. But was that necessary to make the business successful? I don't believe that for a second.
You think it would have gone
in hindsight,
big anyways?
Yeah, because I think that when you balance your life with a relationship or sleep or whatever it is, right, that I think you make better business decisions at work. And so even if you're not spending 16 hours a day at the office and you're only spending 10 or 12, right, that you still can accomplish just as much, maybe more, because you're well rested, you're recharging, you're sharper, you're not making as many bad decisions.
Yeah, and that's why one of the things we're focusing on is creating a more synergistic life, because I don't know if you go online very much often, but a lot of the narrative online with entrepreneurship, there's a lot of entrepreneurship influencers and stuff, and they're always pushing this narrative of, you have to be on the grind 24/7 and you have to give up everything else.
I don't think that's true, but I think when you're on, you have to be on, right? So in other words, but give yourself permission to be off. So I disagree with those that say you have to be on 24/7, because I think when you're on 24/7, you're not as sharp.
I agree.
I'll give you an example. It's a true story, but it's the example I always give to prove that point is I have always slept 9 hours a night. Right? 10 hours on weekends, right? Like I love my sleep. And a lot of people say, people always used to say to me, how do you get so much done? Yeah. Right? I'm good on email. I go to meetings. I'm, running a business. I mean, I'm not doing that now, but I was. And I would say that because I was well rested, my brain was sharper. I made better decisions. I made fewer mistakes. I did less of I don't know what to do about that problem. Let me set it aside and think about it later. And then you're always coming back to the same things over and over again. What's that?
You're running on your back foot, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I was very, very good at problem come in. Here's what I'm going to do. Move on. Next problem, please. Yeah. Right?
Because you're running at 100%.
You're running at 100% when you're doing that. Same thing with email. I had hundreds of emails every day, and I would just tackle them one at a time. What am I going to do with this one? Do it. What am I going to do with this one? Do it. What am I going to do with this one? Do it. Not, let me leave that in my inbox, and then it accumulates, and then you have 2,000 emails in your inbox that people are waiting for you on. That was never me.
No, yeah, 100%. I think one of the most important things you mentioned right there is you were getting all your sleep and recharging.
Yeah.
But when you were on, you were doing actions all the time. It
Yeah.
wasn't just,
I
oh,
was
I'm
working
going to
hard.
dilly-dally,
No.
or I'm stressing about this thing. It was, oh, I'm going to do the thing.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be on 24/7, but when you're on, you have to be on. And it's okay if that's 12 hours a day.
So I think then the option is like you're recovering and you're sleeping and you
Yeah.
actually get stuff done during those hours you're working, or you can do it slower.
And I'll give you a counter example. And, to some extent, I had this when my kids were born, and, you had more sleepless nights, right? And you sort of show up at work the next day and your brain it felt like it's not firing on all cylinders. Decisions would come slower and emails, would accumulate in the inbox. Like you couldn't get stuff done. And so sort of training the brain to be really good at it. And part of that's getting enough sleep, but there's more to it than that, I think
Was there anything
makes you
in
much more.
particular you did to optimize your decision making or action ability
Other than
other
sleep?
than sleep?
It took me years to learn this, but vacations off the grid was the other one that I would do, right? Where I would take a vacation where I was not constantly checking email, and like it's a different version of brain rest than sleep, but go to the beach, hang out with family, have a fun time, whatever you're doing, be present in the moment. So what if you would come back? I'd come back to 3,000 emails in my inbox, and I would go through them, right? And I would answer every one.
Yeah.
And my wife will tell you, we always took our vacations. We came back on Saturday so that Sunday I could work all day on email before going back to the office on Monday. Plow through them.
So there was something there with fully disconnecting.
There was something there to fully disconnecting and
business.
recharging the batteries.
Yeah.
And I guess that's similar to sleep, but it's the same. It's similar in that you're resting your brain, but in a different way, right? You're making your life about more than just your business. You're spending time with your family or your loved ones or in a beautiful place or whatever.
Yeah, you're actually having a life.
You're having a life. You're having a good time.